For our project, we chose a documentary on the Bill of Rights, a necessary reaction to a call for reforms. The Bill of Rights is a part of the Constitution that was made so that the Anti-Federalists would agree to amend the Constitution. It protects most of the people's rights. In a way, it was a great reaction to how the Anti-Federalists thought, and it reformed our Constitution and our whole nation.
The Bill of Rights was a document created to help pass the Constitution. The Constitution was a controversial document debated over by the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. The Anti-Federalists believed the Constitution was created to oppress the people's rights. To help to counter this opinion, the Federalists proposed the Bill of Rights, a document to help protect and sustain the rights of citizens. The document consisted of 10 amendments at the time of creation. The amendments protect the basic rights of American citizens, the most notable of which is the First Amendment, which protects free speech, free press, the right to peaceful protest, and free religion. The remainder of the amendments protects the rights that were established to keep the national government from becoming too powerful, such as the 10th Amendment, which gives all laws not mentioned in the Constitution or Bill of Rights to be decided over by the state governments. But the Bill of Rights doesn't just keep the national government in check. Amendments 5 through 8 protect citizens from unfair or unreasonable criminal justice, from the initial arrest to the punishment. Amendment 2 deals with the right for a citizen to bear arms, and Amendment 3 lets citizens deny housing to soldiers in a time of peace. Each amendment gave a right to the people that they never had. This was a revolutionary document because never before had people been able to have so many rights. In America, the people are free, and with the Bill of Rights, they were able to live happily and peacefully in an equal land. The Bill of Rights reformed our country. Without it, the United States of America would be completely different. The Anti-Federalist debates were debates that happened during the years of 1787 and 1788, following the Constitutional Convention. The Federalist Papers were written by Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, and James Madison, which explained the philosophy and necessity of each article of the Constitution. The Federalist Papers were a series of 85 articles or essays which promoted the ratification of the United States Constitution. 77 of the essays were published in the Independent Journal and the New York Packet between October 1787 and August 1788. A compilation of these and 8 others, called the Federalist, or the New Constitution, was published in 2 volumes in 1788 by J. and A. McLean. The series' correct title is The Federalist. The actual title, The Federalist Papers, did not emerge until the 20th century. The Federalist Papers were made to say that the Constitution should be ratified by all means, and would be greater than the Articles of Confederation, which is what the United States had at the time. The creation of the Constitution had and consisted of hours of debate and compromise, and even when it was completed, some delegates were unhappy with it. The task of fixing the ailing Confederate government was not complete yet. Each state had to ratify or approve the Constitution. Basically, people divided into 2 groups, the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. Each of their viewpoints is worth examining, as they both have sound reasoning. The Anti-Federalists were the people that didn't want the Constitution ratified. They were the people that would only have it ratified if the Federalists put in the Bill of Rights. The Anti-Federalists didn't want the Constitution ratified, and argued that it gave too much power to the national government, at the expense of the state governments, and also the Congress, because of the necessary and proper clause. It gave them too much power. The Federalist Party was an American political party during the late 18th and early 19th centuries. The early leaders of this party were George Washington, John Jay, James Madison, and others. This party thought that the Articles of Confederation was not strong enough, so they created the Constitution in hopes of a better government. This was a more reformed government than the other. The Anti-Federalists did not like this new government and actually thought it was too powerful. The only way that they would have it go through was if they put in the Bill of Rights to go with it, protecting the citizens' rights.
The Bill of Rights was a good reaction to the Constitution because it prevented the government from gaining too much power. They did not want the government to become like the monarchy that had ruled America for many years before. Every day, people use their rights. When you express an opinion, you are using your First Amendment right to free speech. If you own a gun, you are using your Second Amendment right to bear arms. Even today, the Occupy Wall Street movement used their freedom of assembly when they protested corporate greed in the government by refusing to leave Wall Street. Also, the Bill of Rights was helpful to the American independence by restricting what the government can and can't do. Although today, people argue how the Bill of Rights can relate to life today. They say that some of the rights from then don't make sense in today's times. Gun control activists say that the Second Amendment doesn't mean the same as it did then. They say that back during the writing of the Bill of Rights, the Revolution had just ended and conflicts were more frequent, and the Bill of Rights is not needed today. And the right is not needed today. Despite the arguments, I think we can all agree that the Bill of Rights is just as important today as it was then. Without the Bill of Rights, our daily life would be very different. Our government would feel much more like a monarchy because Americans would not have as many rights. People would be sent to jail without attorney. Your house would be searched by the government without warning, and the government would be allowed to spy on American citizens without warrant. An example that could jeopardize the Bill of Rights is SOPA and the NDAA. SOPA, Stop Online Piracy Act, is a bill that it was created to prevent copyright fraud and to stop piracy. However, it will actually completely prevent free speech online. Some say someone were to post a copyrighted picture, they would be fined an extreme amount of money, and they would face up to 5 years in prison. The NDAA allows the government to put American citizens on indefinite hold without trial or legitimate accusation. This breaks the Eighth Amendment, protection from cruel and unusual punishment.
Overall, the Bill of Rights made our country what it is today, and it was the perfect reaction to the Federalists and Anti-Federalists' thoughts and brought their ideas together to form the best reform to the Constitution during the Revolution. Our group consisted of the members Kevin Zabel, Tim Zabel, Shane Drugan, Matt Deweese, and William Rogers.